chosen ones. Someone is talking about you right now. Not in passing, not casually, but with intention, with evidence they've manufactured, with tears they've rehearsed. They're sitting across from someone new, someone who doesn't know you, painting a portrait of you with colors that don't exist in your soul. This person keeps bringing you up to new people because their old audience has stopped listening. The setups they crafted so carefully have stopped working. The helpers they've recruited are receiving warnings in their dreams, in their meditations, in that uncomfortable twist in their stomach that says something here isn't right. And here's the thing that should make you smile right now. They have no idea their entire operation is collapsing from the inside out. 3 nights ago, something shifted in the spiritual realm. The person who's been bringing your name up in rooms you've never entered just approached their most important recruit yet. Someone with power, someone with influence, someone who could have truly damaged you if they'd believed the lies. But instead of nodding along to the sob story, instead of taking the bait of the fabricated evidence, this person felt something cold crawl up their spine. They saw a flash of something in your antagonist's eyes that didn't match the tears. They heard an inconsistency in the story that set off every alarm in their intuitive system. They excused themselves politely, went home and immediately lit a candle for protection because they realized they'd just been in the presence of something deeply deceptive. This is happening everywhere your name is being mentioned. The universe has activated something I can only describe as a spiritual immune system, and it's specifically calibrated to protect you from the poison being spread about you. Every single person being approached with stories about you is receiving divine intel that something is off. Some are seeing it in dreams where you appear surrounded by light, while your antagonist appears wrapped in shadows. Others are experiencing strange synchronicities every time they consider helping with this manufactured vendetta. Phone calls dropping at crucial moments. Sudden headaches when they start to believe the lies. Computers crash when they try to forward the false evidence. But to understand what's really happening here, you need to know who you're dealing with. This person didn't just wake up one morning and decide to destroy you. This is a pattern they've perfected over years, possibly decades. You're not their first target, but you're about to be their last. See, they've been running the same playbook they used on someone before you, someone who didn't have the protection you have, someone who crumbled under the weight of the manufactured evidence and orchestrated situations. That person, wherever they are now, was the test run. You're the main event. Except this time, the universe changed the rules without telling them. Let me paint you a picture of what's been happening behind your back, because once you see the full scope of this operation, you'll understand why it's failing so spectacularly. Every interaction you've had with this person was documented, but not in the way you think. They weren't just taking mental notes or screenshots. They were creating situations, manufacturing contexts, building a library of moments they could twist into evidence. Remember that time you reacted strongly to something that seemed minor? They'd been poking at that wound for weeks, invisible needles designed to get exactly the reaction they needed. Remember when you said something out of character, something that surprised even you? They'd been applying pressure to specific psychological points, using techniques they learned from previous victims, waiting for you to snap so they could capture it. The genius of their plan, if you can call evil genius, was that everything they collected was real. The words you said, the reactions you had, the moments of weakness they captured, all real. What they're not telling the people they show this evidence to is that every single piece was obtained through elaborate manipulation. It's like someone drugging you, filming your impaired behavior, then showing the footage to prove you're unstable without mentioning the drugs. Except the drugs were psychological, emotional, spiritual warfare designed to break you down systematically. They studied you like a predator studies prey, but not for a quick kill. This was about slow dismantling, piece by piece, until you wouldn't even recognize yourself in the mirror. They learned your triggers not to help you heal, but to know exactly where to apply pressure. They discovered your insecurities, not to support you, but to weaponize them. Every moment of vulnerability you shared became ammunition. Every fear you confessed became a tool in their arsenal. They were building a weapon specifically designed to destroy you, and they were using your own openness, your own trust, your own authenticity as the raw materials. But here's where their plan started to crack. You didn't break the way you were supposed to. Sure, you reacted sometimes. Sure, you had moments where their provocations worked, but you didn't crumble. You didn't disappear. You didn't go quietly into the destruction they'd planned for you. And that's when they had to escalate. That's when they started bringing you up to new people, casting wider nets, taking bigger risks. And that escalation is exactly what's exposing them. The first sign of their desperation was when they started approaching people who barely knew you. Think about it. If their evidence was so compelling, if their story was so convincing, why would they need to go to strangers? Why not stick with people who actually knew you and could verify their claims? Because the people who know you weren't buying it. They were asking questions your antagonist couldn't answer. They were pointing out inconsistencies that couldn't be explained. They were refusing to participate in something that felt fundamentally wrong. So your antagonist had to find fresh ears, uninformed minds, people who didn't have their own experiences with you to contradict the narrative being sold. But even these strangers are feeling it, the discomfort, the sense that something is off, the way your antagonist's emotion seems performed rather than genuine, the way the evidence seems too perfect, too convenient, too precisely aligned with the story being told. Real life is messy. Real evidence has contradictions, complexities, contexts. What your antagonist is presenting is too clean, too curated, too obviously constructed. The spiritual practitioner they approached last week saw right through it. This wasn't some amateur reader at a psychic fair. This was someone with real power, real sight, real connection to the spiritual realm. Your antagonist came to them with tears, with evidence, with a request for spiritual intervention against you. They wanted this practitioner to bind you, to hex you, to humble you, to bring divine justice upon you for crimes you didn't commit. The practitioner agreed to look into it, to read the situation, to see what spiritual work needed to be done. What happened next is something your antagonist is still trying to understand. The moment this practitioner opened themselves to read the situation, they saw everything, not the manufactured story, but the truth. They saw the elaborate setups, the psychological manipulation, the energy harvesting your antagonist has been doing. But more importantly, they saw you. They saw your true spiritual signature, the light that surrounds you, the protection that's been placed on your life. They saw beings of light standing guard around your energy field. They saw the golden threads connecting you to divine source. They saw that you weren't the perpetrator, but the victim, and that any spiritual work against you would result in immediate and severe karmic backlash. The practitioner went deeper, following the energy trails back through time, and what they found disturbed them profoundly. They saw the others, the previous victims, the pattern of destruction that followed your antagonist like a shadow. They saw souls damaged, lights dimmed, people who never fully recovered from similar campaigns, but they also saw something else. They saw that with each victim, your antagonist had absorbed something dark, something parasitic, something that was now using them as much as they were using it. Your antagonist wasn't just a perpetrator anymore. They had become a host to something that fed on the destruction of light. If this message hits your spirit, hype this video so more chosen ones like you can find it. This practitioner didn't just refuse to help. They performed a reversal ritual that night, sending every ounce of negative energy back to its source. But more than that, they sealed the pathway, making it impossible for your antagonist to send anything your way through spiritual means. Your antagonist woke up the next morning with the worst headache of their life, their body aching like they'd been beaten, their energy completely drained. They still don't know what happened. They think they're just stressed from all their hard work destroying you. They have no idea that the spiritual forces they've been trying to weaponize have turned against them. But that's not even the most interesting part. The practitioner, disturbed by what they'd seen, started reaching out to others in the spiritual community, not gossiping but warning, sending out a spiritual alert that someone was trying to use dark arts against an innocent, someone protected by forces that should not be challenged. This warning has been spreading through networks your antagonist doesn't even know exist. Every legitimate practitioner in your area has now been warned. Every authentic spiritual worker has been told to refuse any requests involving you. The spiritual community has essentially blacklisted your antagonist without them knowing it. What your antagonist doesn't understand is that real spiritual practitioners can see through deception instantly. They can read the energy signature of truth versus lies. They can feel the weight of genuine emotion versus performance. They can sense the darkness that clings to those who practice deception as a way of life. Every time your antagonist approaches one of these practitioners, they're essentially walking into a room with a sign on their forehead that says, "I am lying." They just can't see the sign themselves. Meanwhile, the new people they keep bringing you up to are starting to compare notes. Not intentionally at first, but through those strange coincidences the universe orchestrates. Two people who don't know each other end up at the same coffee shop, strike up a conversation and realize they've both been told stories about the same person, you. But the stories don't match, the timelines don't align, the details contradict each other. They exchange numbers, promising to talk more, and that's when the unraveling begins. One of these people, let's call them the investigator, has a background in psychology. They recognize the patterns immediately, the way your antagonist presented the information, the emotional manipulation techniques, the careful construction of narrative to lead to a specific conclusion. They've seen this before in their practice. It's called gaslighting by proxy, attempting to manipulate someone's reality through third parties. The investigator started documenting everything, creating a timeline, mapping the inconsistencies. They're building a case, but not against you, against your antagonist. You see, liars need perfect memories, and your antagonist has been telling so many versions of their story that they can't keep track anymore. The version they told 3 months ago doesn't match the one from last month. The evidence they showed to one person contradicts what they showed another. The tears they cry don't fall the same way twice. People are starting to notice, and once you notice the cracks in someone's story, you can't unsee them. The desperation is becoming visible in other ways too. Your antagonist's social media has become a carefully curated performance of victimhood. Every post is designed to elicit sympathy, to build a narrative where they're the hero fighting against some unnamed evil. But people who know how to read between the lines are seeing something else. They're seeing the obsession, the fixation, the inability to let go. They're seeing someone who claims to want peace while constantly stirring up conflict. They're seeing someone who claims to be healing while picking at wounds to keep them fresh. But let's talk about what they're really hiding, because this is where the story gets dark before it gets light. Your antagonist has been using other people as spiritual batteries, as shields, as disposable assets in their war against you. They've been consciously or unconsciously directing the negative energy that should be hitting them toward people who trust them, family members who've been getting mysteriously ill, friends who've been having runs of terrible luck, associates who've suddenly fallen into deep depressions. Your antagonist knows there's a connection but won't admit it, even to themselves. The energy they've been sending your way has to go somewhere when it can't reach you. It doesn't just dissipate, it returns to sender, but your antagonist has learned to deflect it onto others. Every curse they've tried to place on you has landed on someone in their inner circle. Every hex they've attempted has hit someone they claim to care about. They're surrounded by collateral damage from their own spiritual warfare, and they're running out of people to use as shields. One of these people, let's call them the awakened one, recently put the pieces together. They realized that every time your antagonist came to them for support, for energy, for validation in their campaign against you, they would feel drained for days afterward. They started tracking it, documenting the pattern, and what they found horrified them. They were being used as a spiritual dumping ground, absorbing the karmic debt your antagonist was accumulating. This awakened one tried to confront them, tried to warn them, tried to break free. Your antagonist's response? They immediately started spreading rumors that this person was unstable, unreliable, possibly dangerous. Sound familiar? This is the pattern. Anyone who sees through the deception, anyone who questions the narrative, anyone who tries to break free becomes the next target. But here's what your antagonist doesn't understand. They're running out of people to use. Their pool of potential victims is shrinking. The universe is closing off their access to innocent energy. They're being forced to carry their own karmic debt, and it's crushing them. The weight of maintaining lies is exponential. One lie requires 10 more to support it. Those 10 require 100. The 100 require 1,000. Your antagonist is now juggling thousands of micro-lies, trying to keep them all in the air, and they're starting to drop them. Each dropped lie reveals another layer of deception. Each exposed deception raises more questions. The house of cards isn't just unstable anymore, it's in active collapse. You've been feeling it, haven't you? The shift in the air around you, the lightness that's been growing despite everything they're trying to do. That's because every cord they had attached to you is being severed. Every hook they had in your energy field is being removed. The universe is performing spiritual surgery on you, removing all the parasitic connections they created. You're being freed in real time, and they can feel it. They can feel you slipping away from their grasp, and it's driving them insane. But it's not just the spiritual cords that are being cut. It's the psychological ones too. The guilt they tried to install in you is dissolving. The shame they tried to make you carry is lifting. The doubt they tried to plant in your mind about your own perceptions is clearing. You're remembering who you were before they tried to rewrite your story. You're reclaiming the narrative of your own life, and that reclamation is terrifying to them because it means all their work was for nothing. Their latest attempts to bring you up to new people are acts of desperation. They can feel their power waning, their influence diminishing, their carefully constructed false reality crumbling. So they're casting wider nets, taking bigger risks, approaching people they normally wouldn't dare to involve. And every single one of these attempts is backfiring spectacularly. The more people they tell their story to, the more witnesses there are to their deception when the truth comes out. Just last week, they approached someone with significant social influence, someone whose endorsement of their story could have changed everything. This person listened carefully, took notes, asked thoughtful questions. Your antagonist thought they had won them over, but this influential person was actually conducting their own investigation. They reached out to mutual contacts, verified timelines, fact-checked claims. What they found was a web of deception so intricate it was actually impressive in its malevolence. This person not only refused to help, but has been quietly warning others in their network to be careful of your antagonist. And the truth is coming out. Not through any action you need to take, not through any revenge you need to seek, but through the natural law of spiritual physics. Lies are heavy. They require constant energy to maintain. Truth is light. It rises naturally to the surface. Your antagonist is exhausting themselves trying to hold their lies underwater while the truth keeps bubbling up around them. They're playing spiritual whack-a-mole with reality, and they're losing. The helpers they've been recruiting are experiencing something unprecedented. Every single person who's agreed to help them, to participate in their campaign against you, has been having the same recurring nightmare. In it, they're standing in a courtroom, but it's not a regular courtroom. The walls are made of stars, the floor is made of clouds, and the judge is a being of pure light. They're being asked to present their evidence against you, but when they reach for it, it turns to ash in their hands. They try to speak the accusations, but their voice won't work. Then they see you, standing in the defendant's position, but you're not defending yourself, you're just standing there, glowing while the truth speaks for itself. They wake up from these dreams knowing that they're on the wrong side of something cosmic. These dreams are so vivid, so consistent across different people who don't know each other, that some have started researching what they mean. They're finding articles about spiritual warfare, about divine justice, about the consequences of bearing false witness. They're discovering that participating in the destruction of an innocent creates a karmic debt that can take lifetimes to repay. The fear this is generating is palpable. Some are backing out with elaborate excuses. Others are simply disappearing, blocking your antagonist without explanation. The army they thought they were building is deserting before the battle even begins. Some of them are backing out quietly, making excuses about why they can't help anymore. Others are being more direct, telling your antagonist that something feels wrong about the whole situation. A few brave ones have actually confronted them about the inconsistencies in their story, and your antagonist's response to this resistance, to escalate further, to become more dramatic, to produce more evidence, not realizing that the more they produce, the more obvious their manipulation becomes. There's something else happening that you need to know about. The universe has been documenting everything, not in some metaphorical sense, but in the actual fabric of reality. Every lie told about you has created a ripple in the spiritual field that's been recorded. Every manipulation has left an energetic fingerprint. Every false tear has been noted in the Akashic records. There's a spiritual trial happening in dimensions you can't see, and the evidence being presented isn't the manufactured garbage your antagonist has been showing people. It's the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. The verdict has already been decided. Your innocence has been established beyond any doubt. Your protection has been guaranteed at the highest levels of spiritual authority. What you're experiencing now is just the physical world catching up to what's already been decided in the spiritual realm. The delay between spiritual verdict and physical manifestation is actually a mercy for your antagonist, a chance for them to stop, to repent, to change course. But they're not taking it. They're doubling down, tripling down, quadrupling down on their deception. The universe operates on patterns, and the pattern of your vindication is already set in motion. Every person who believed lies about you is about to have their eyes opened. Every door that was closed because of false information is about to swing open. Every opportunity that was blocked is about to present itself again, this time with bonuses for the delay. The universe doesn't just restore what was taken, it overcompensates for the injustice. Every new person they bring you up to is actually a gift to you, not because they're succeeding in turning people against you, but because each attempt creates more witnesses to their eventual exposure. The universe is allowing them to gather an audience for their own downfall. Every person they've lied to about you will be there to see the truth revealed. Every false accusation will be publicly reversed. Every manipulated piece of evidence will be exposed for what it is. The beautiful irony in all of this is that your antagonist is actually serving your highest good without meaning to. They're helping you identify who in your life can be manipulated, who lacks discernment, who would abandon you based on lies. They're showing you who your real friends are by revealing who your fake friends were. They're clearing your life of people who don't deserve to be there, making room for souls who will recognize your light, no matter how many shadows someone tries to cast on it. But beyond the practical benefits, this trial has been refining you spiritually in ways you're only beginning to understand. Every attack has strengthened your auric field. Every lie told about you has increased your ability to recognize truth. Every betrayal has heightened your discernment. You're developing spiritual antibodies to deception. You're building an immunity to manipulation. You're becoming energetically sovereign in ways that will serve you for the rest of this lifetime and beyond. You're about to witness something that most people never get to see. Complete and total vindication. Not the kind you have to fight for, not the kind you have to prove, but the kind that happens naturally when truth finally breaks through the dam of lies that's been holding it back. Your antagonist has been building that dam for months, maybe years, and the pressure behind it has been growing every single day. When it breaks, and it's about to, the flood of truth will wash away everything they've built. The people who turned against you based on lies will have to face what they did. Some will come to you with apologies, with explanations, with requests for forgiveness. Others will be too ashamed to face you, living with the knowledge that they participated in an attempted spiritual murder. And your antagonist, they'll be left standing in the wreckage of their own creation, finally seeing the destruction they caused, finally feeling the weight of their actions, finally understanding that they were never fighting you. They were fighting the universe itself, and that's a battle no one wins. But here's what makes you different from them. You're not going to celebrate their downfall. You're not going to dance on the ashes of their deception. You're going to do what you've been doing all along. Stand in your truth. Maintain your dignity. Continue being the light that triggered their darkness in the first place, because that's what this has always been about. Your light showed them their own shadows, and instead of doing the work to heal those shadows, they tried to eliminate the light. But you can't eliminate the sun by closing your eyes. You just end up in darkness alone. The next phase of your life is about to begin. Everything they tried to take from you is being restored with interest. Every door they tried to close is opening wider than before. Every relationship they tried to destroy is either being healed stronger than ever or replaced with something better. The universe doesn't just restore what was lost, it upgrades it. You're about to receive blessings that wouldn't have been possible without going through this trial. Your financial situation is about to shift dramatically. Opportunities that seemed impossible are about to become inevitable. People with resources and connections are about to enter your life, drawn by the authentic light you've maintained despite everything. Your antagonist tried to destroy your reputation, but instead they've created a story of resilience that's about to become legendary among those who matter. Your antagonist, meanwhile, is about to enter their own trial, but unlike yours, which was a trial by fire that purified and strengthened you, theirs is a trial by mirror. They're about to be forced to see themselves clearly for the first time. Every projection they put on you is about to be reflected back to them. Every accusation they made against you is about to reveal itself as a confession of their own crimes. Every lie they told about you is about to expose a truth about them they've been hiding from themselves. The helpers who ignored the warnings and proceeded to assist in the campaign against you are about to learn why spiritual laws exist. They're about to discover that participating in the destruction of an innocent creates a karmic debt that must be paid. Some will pay it through loss, some through illness, some through their own betrayals and abandonments. The universe doesn't punish, it balances, and the scales have been tipped so far in the wrong direction that the rebalancing is going to be dramatic. But even as justice is served, the universe is offering them a path to redemption. Those who come forward with the truth, who admit their participation in the deception, who genuinely seek to make amends, will find their karmic debt reduced. The universe values truth and genuine repentance. Some of your unexpected allies in the coming months will be people who once stood against you, but found the courage to switch sides when they saw the truth. I must interrupt this transmission for just a moment. Are you really chosen? Prove it. It's easy to watch videos about chosen ones. It's another thing to put yourself to the test. If you're still here, that means something, but talk is cheap. Real chosen ones take action. That's why I built Destiny Engine. It generates personalized sequences that help you rewire betrayal into transcendence, turn isolation into sacred power, and transform their downfall into your rise. We are using the Dark Elite's own weapons against them, taking their declassified consciousness technology that programmed competition and scarcity and repurposing it to serve divine justice. You put on the headphones, press play, and watch your enemies choke on the rope their own lies created. If you're done consuming and ready to prove you're chosen, start your Destiny Engine for $1 today. Join the Obsidian Inner Order live checks and watch divine justice accelerate in your life. Link in the description. As for you, chosen one, your only job now is to witness, to watch as the universe handles what you never could have handled alone. To observe as divine justice moves in ways that human justice never could. To see the perfect orchestration of consequences that fit the crime so precisely it could only be divine. You don't need to lift a finger. You don't need to speak a word. You don't need to do anything except be yourself, because being yourself is what started this whole thing, and being yourself is what's ending it. The person who keeps bringing you up to new people doesn't realize they're not recruiting an army against you. They're gathering witnesses for a revelation. Every person they've spoken to, every lie they've told, every piece of false evidence they've presented has been noted by forces they don't believe in but are about to meet face to face. The helpers they've manipulated into action are about to discover they've been played. The systems they've tried to corrupt are about to self-correct. The reality they've tried to distort is about to snap back into place with a force that will leave everyone stunned. You know what the most powerful part of this whole story is? You never had to become like them to defeat them. You never had to lie to expose their lies. You never had to manipulate to reveal their manipulation. You stayed in your truth, in your power, in your authenticity, and that's what's destroying them. They're not losing to you, they're losing to themselves, to their own choices, to their own energy returning home. You're just the mirror they can't stand to look into, the light that reveals what they've been hiding in the darkness. The setups they created have stopped working because the universe has upgraded your security system. You're now operating on a frequency they can't reach, a dimension they can't access, a level of protection they can't penetrate. Every attempt to bring you down is actually lifting you higher. Every effort to destroy your reputation is actually building your legacy. Every person they turn against you is actually being freed from your life because they were never meant to be there for the next chapter. In the coming days, you're going to see evidence of everything I've told you. People are going to reach out with apologies you weren't expecting. Information is going to surface that validates everything you've suspected. Opportunities are going to appear that were previously blocked. Your antagonist is going to make a mistake so public, so undeniable, that everyone will see their true face. The helpers they recruited are going to turn whistleblower. The evidence they manufactured is going to be exposed as fake. The entire house of cards is about to experience a hurricane. But remember this as you watch it all unfold. This victory isn't just yours. It's for everyone who's been through this kind of systematic destruction. Your survival, your thriving, your eventual vindication is sending a message through the spiritual realm that these kinds of attacks won't be tolerated anymore. You've become a spiritual precedent, a case study in divine protection, a lighthouse for others experiencing similar battles. The person who keeps bringing you up to new people is about to discover that every mention of your name has been strengthening you. Every lie told about you has been building your spiritual armor. Every attempt to destroy you has been training you for something bigger. You're not the same person they started attacking. You've evolved through this trial into something they can't touch, can't understand, can't defeat. You've become anti-fragile, getting stronger with every attack, growing more powerful with every attempt to diminish you. Your story, the real story, is about to be told, not by you, but by the universe itself, through the mouths of people who will be compelled to speak the truth. Through synchronicities that reveal what's been hidden, through divine interventions that no one can explain away. The truth is about to become undeniable, and everyone who participated in the lie is about to face the consequences of their choice. As this chapter closes and the next one begins, remember that you didn't just survive this, you transcended it. You didn't just endure the attacks, you transformed them into strength. You didn't just maintain your truth, you became it. And that's why the person who keeps bringing you up to new people is about to learn that some names carry protection, some lights can't be dimmed, and some chosen ones are actually chosen. The universe has spoken. The verdict is final. You are protected, you are vindicated, and you are about to witness the complete dismantling of every lie told about you. The person bringing you up to new people has been building your testimony without knowing it. Every person they've spoken to is about to become a witness to your truth. The setups have stopped working because the universe has changed the game and they're still playing by old rules in a new reality where chosen ones like you don't fall. They rise,